Hello everyone, welcome to Recursive Gaming and another episode of Iron Saga, the A-Rank only challenge. To start this episode off, I want to show you some cool things. Here, I can change the music that's playing in the lobby. Just click on this little button right here, and it changes the song. So, that's pretty awesome. Over here on this arrow up is how you change the avatar. You click on that and you can change the avatar. And I tend to pick either a character I've got a skin for, or one that I'm leveling up that I really like. Let's see if Arashi is any better. Nah, let's go with Bora. Bora's the best. Okay, we'll go with Bora, and we can also change our profile icon so people think that we are an active player. You tend to get more friend invites if people see you as being more active. It also helps if you have a more rare character as your avatar, because people understand it's not necessarily a character you get for free starting the game as a new player. So they think, oh, this person, knows what they're doing, or, they're more active, they managed a lucky pull, so they're more likely to stay with their account. All that basically means that you're more likely to get friend invites. So if you go down here to social, you can actually look for friends, and you can invite them. I am much more likely to invite this person, even though it's one day ago. Actually, that's a good thing. This is how many days ago they logged in, by the way. So you can tell that this person hasn't logged in for 4 days. Not going to add them as a friend. This person was online 52 minutes ago. So that's actually how often they are online. I'd really be more likely to add this person or maybe this person. Reason being, they changed their avatar. So that means they know more about the game. They at least know that much. And they've got favorite characters, right? So they're more likely to have an active account than somebody who's just got the starting avatar, hasn't bothered to change it, and hasn't been online for 4 days. So you tend to get more friend invites if you change your avatar. You can invite friends here, but I'm going to explain something on friends when we get to the section where we can go and join a corp. When you join a corp, everyone in the corp automatically gets added to your friend list. So anytime you're doing a section and you can't get past it in the story or an event stage, and you're fighting a boss and you keep losing, you can get help from a supporting team. Those supporting teams are from your friends list, from some anonymous users that usually aren't very good, but they're meant to be at the same level as you so that you can add them as friends. It's that kind of cool mechanic for, helping people to match up and become friends. And then in the corps, if you join a good corps with high level people, then you've got plenty of people to help you. So I think that's a good idea, but we can talk more about that when we get to the corpse stage. So hold on while I turn down the music a little bit. It's louder than I expected. Okay, so that should be a little better. So I've actually been logged in for a few minutes already. I have not progressed past the point I got stuck yesterday. I did continue playing a little bit yesterday, and I was gonna, make another episode, but I ran out of stamina. I thought, I'll just go ahead and let it recharge overnight, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Now, you see, I've actually used a bit of stamina already today. I already claimed my thumbs up arena stamina, so I've actually used quite a bit. But that was doing my dailies here in the arcade. If you go to the arcade, I did my daily arcade. I did all my guessing arena. As you can see, I've got 0 left. I'm glad I didn't show you guys that because I actually lost quite a few of my guessing arena choices. Sometimes you just get trolled by the guessing arena. You think you've picked the winning team and it totally gets trumped. Anyways, I did the Trial of Origin, and this is kind of what I want to show you guys. I figured something out that I didn't share with you in the previous episode, and that is it's in your best interest to do each one once per day instead of doing the same one 3 times. And the reason why is because that increased amount you may have seen yesterday, where the first time I did it, I got about 5,000 research points and a decent amount of research material. Every consecutive time I did it after that, I got much less, like maybe 20% of that, like 1 research material and only maybe 1,000 research points. So you get that increased amount the first time you complete each boss each day. So it's in your best interest to do each one once per day. So I already did the ranged weapon boss, barely beat it. Barely was strong enough. The explosive element boss was actually pretty easy. I did that one pretty easily. But I am stuck on the beam element boss, and I wanted to show you guys that I am not quite strong enough to beat it. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So I'm using the same lineup as I do for everything else. Full A rank team. Let's go ahead and do it. You cannot get help from people when doing these origin bosses. You have to have a strong enough team to do this. Let's see how long I can survive. She's pretty tanky. She just tanked 2 major hits right there, and as you can see, she took hardly any damage. So my Odysseus with Arashi in it is actually fairly tanky, so that build is working for what we want it to. The problem is we don't have enough damage. So, unfortunately, just don't quite have the damage to beat this. Also, the last boss, battle number 6 in chapter 11, I got stuck on yesterday, and I wanted to show you guys that as well. I just don't think I have the damage. So I think my weak points are currently Odysseus, who is a good tank, but does not nearly enough damage, and Achilles. Achilles is also tanky, but also, again, does not do nearly enough damage. Hercules does more damage, and my heavily armored Rakshasa does more damage. So I need some better A-Rank mechs. And I'm going to go over some... Actually, I might just beat this. Wow, I think I got really lucky. Am I good? Yeah, 1%, 8%, or, 0.8, 0.2. 1 left. Come on. Oh, does this count as a victory, please? No. Oh my gosh, that was so close. Okay, so as you guys see, not quite good enough to beat that. I got way farther along this time than I did the previous time. Beckus is doing the most damage by far against the boss. So as you can see against a single boss where he can really get his drones out there and just hitting the target, he does do the most damage. So we built him correctly. Surui is doing half the amount of damage as he is. Okay, so yesterday, in the previous episode, we saw Surui doing more damage than Beckus. But that's because it was in story mode, and it was against enemies that die rather quickly. When an enemy is going to stay up longer, Beckus's damage is a lot more evident. So anyways, Beckus is a clear damage dealer in the Rakshasa. Then we've got Surui in the Hercules doing half as much. And then we've got Bora in the Achilles also doing about half as much. And then the Odysseus. Now the thing is, the Odysseus is not supposed to be a damage dealer, right? It's a tank. And it's only doing 2% less damage than the Achilles. And also only 2% less damage than the Hercules. So against boss targets, both the Achilles and the Hercules are not damage dealers, guys. They're not doing the job. They're doing barely more than my tank, okay? And the tank has hardly any ranged damage at all. So, what I'm trying to say is I need better A-rank options. I did manage to get one better A-rank option yesterday. Let me see if I can show you. Rakshasa. Okay, so up here I'm using the heavily armored Rakshasa. I'll show you really quick. This has beam floating claws. They're drones, missiles. You've seen them before. Down here, the Rakshasa, the original variant, has sort of the same thing, but it does fire damage. And instead of shooting beams from long distance away while orbiting around the mech that fires them, it orbits the enemy instead and uses a fire flamethrower, which is pretty cool. Also, it does not use a flamethrower. It just uses an automatic revolver, sort of like a small cannon. So it actually, I think, does about the same amount of damage, if not less damage, than the heavily armored Rakshasa. But I guarantee it's going to do more damage with those fire drones shooting out a flamethrower than the Achilles and the Hercules. So I need to change up my A-rank mechs. Another option I have for getting better A-rank mechs is, as you guys know, the black market if I get lucky, which I have not gotten lucky. The coin merchant if I get lucky, but I have not gotten lucky. None of these A-rank mechs are worth using. The mercenary camp, again, no A-rank mechs, but I can get some vouchers if I complete this side story and possibly pull an A-rank mech. The watermelon story, as you guys saw, I did this already. I already used those vouchers, so I can't really get an A-rank from here. There's another watermelon shop, but again, does not give me any A-rank mechs. Finally, we come to the event stores. This I need to do. This is an event that's going on right now, and it gives fantastic rewards. You get a pet sphere. You get an S-class sphere, which unfortunately doesn't really help me with this challenge. You get a sun badge, which is where you get to choose a really, really awesome mech of your choice. So that's awesome. This right here, the support parts selector, is awesome. Can't wait to use this. So I need to complete this event and get these rewards. So that will help me out a lot. The pet will help me, and the armored parts selector will help me a lot. So I need to get those. But again, it's random. You choose, you get these materials, and then it's kind of like a roulette. You hit this, and then it randomly lands somewhere. So it can take forever to get exactly what you want. On my other account, I had to farm this for days, and it took me a lot of resources just to get this pet. Now, it's worth it. Sometimes pets can really make a huge difference for your characters. If I show you a rewards list, the best one to choose is this one right here, Laz. When HP is lower than 50%, teleports continuously to evade attacks. Okay, there's other good pets to choose, but this is the best one to start with. So I went ahead and got Laz on a new account. You probably need to have at least one of those. There's quite a few really good ones in here. I can't remember which one it is, but there's one in here that allows you to attack with the same weapon. It has the akimbo feature that we're using Surui for. So if we put the pet on that allowed dual attacks with the Hercules, then we could put a better pilot than Surui. Oh, is it this one? No. Anyways, there's some really good pets in here. Yeah, I don't want to look through all the pets. You guys can do that. But I recommend starting with Laz for the teleport. While he teleports around, he's invincible, doesn't take damage, and continues firing on the enemy. So it's very strong. So anyways, there's a couple of things I can do. Ooh, yeah, I think I already showed you guys this, but here's the last one. From doing the combat, I can come in here and choose any A rank I want using the coins. I'm definitely getting this. This is the strongest ranged A-Rank mech. It's full element, so you can put element damage items on it. These right here do insane damage. The shield flame shells. 195 times 2 plus a flame debuff on a cooldown of only 3 seconds each. This thing does, watch, without any items at all. No pilot, no items. Just 9-star, right, with all the upgrades. But no items at all and no pilot. Watch how much damage this thing does. It misses on those. So you count, the missiles are actually very inaccurate if you're not shooting bigger targets. So you actually counter that with seeking. The seeking item that we're using on the Achilles right now, it does the same thing for this, and it makes the missiles a lot better. Look at this damage right here, guys. 1700. If he wasn't missing so many missiles, we'd be over 2,000. Yeah. Yeah, it'll go over 2,000 if he continues not missing. Look at that. Oh, man. So the damage on this thing is absolutely incredible. You can reach over 3,000 on an A rank with the right pilot and gear. For comparison, if we look at our team, I want to show you guys what I need to change. Here, let's do the test. This is my Bora. It's a 9-rank Achilles with the best items I can get. Let's see the damage on this mech I've put so much effort and work into for my team. You'll see the difference. Look at this damage. It's a quarter of the damage. A quarter of the damage. Only 25% of the damage that you see from a completely unmodified, unboosted mech. So it's doing probably maybe 10% of the total damage. Because once I get the Action Modified up and ready, it's going to be doing 100% more damage than this thing. It's going to be crazy. So anyways, the Achilles is absolutely pitiful. If we take the Hercules, it'll be roughly the same. Maybe 100, 150 more DPS, but about the same. So we've got a lack of damage. Okay, so we already showed you the boss challenge. Let me show you in the main story what I got stuck on yesterday. Okay, I can't even get past chapter 11, guys. That's pretty pitiful. Honestly. You guys are not going to have any problems, probably, if you're using the right S-Rank Mech team. You're not going to have any problems getting past this. But you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a boss battle with some helpers. So I'm going to come down here and make sure I'm using stuff at the right time. Full invasion against the entire enemy team to lower their movement speed. I already lost a person. Surui, she used negative energy just in time before she died. Here's fire at will. And we're left 2-on-1. 2-on-1 and we can't take this thing out. This is an albatross, by the way. Yep, I lost my main DPS. And this thing's constantly healing, by the way, because that's what it does. But there you go. Cannot beat that current section. I tried several times. So I need more damage. I just think that's what I'm missing is pure damage. So I think I'm going to pause and bring you guys back in after I have completed some side quests. Side quests is my best option for getting more damage. Here's another tip. Come here for events and quests. You go over to side quests. These are always available. There's no time limited part of this. These are going to be available. You complete them whenever you can. They each give you different rewards. They're really good for giving you pilots. A lot of these reward you with several pilots. And then a lot of these also award you with A-Rank Mechs, along with gifts that you can use to rank up affinities for your pilots and resources and stuff like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. I'm going to make sure I'm doing the right side quests. There is a specific A-Rank mech that's very strong that you get from one of these side quests. I do think it is this one, but I got to make sure. And it gives you something called a Foxhound as an A-Rank mech. It's very strong. So 1 second. I'll be right back, and I'll make sure I'm doing the right one. Alright guys, so sad information here. You have to complete the Crappy Mercenaries Requiem in order to get the Foxhound, which is it's Beckus's costume, I guess, his special Lynx version of the mech, and A-Rank, and it's really good. But you got to complete Chapter 11. Watch. Complete the level 11 of Chapter campaign to unlock. So I either got to make some changes in my current team, or I have to work on those coins in order to get the Yaksha modified. Sorry. Oh, that's not what I wanted to hear. So let me go to the missions up here. I know there's missions. Okay, so let's just go ahead and complete this really quick. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but I can fix it later. So let's just go here to Mecha. Sorry, I keep clicking the wrong thing. I'm used to playing this on my phone. I want to get rid of the Achilles anyway, so let's go ahead and restore. Let's get those resources, and that might be enough, although I kind of doubt it. I need to get this thing to 6-star. Of course, I'm just going to restore right after I'm done, because all I'm trying to do is complete that quest to unlock the next set of quests. Because some of those quests require you to go and do the combat scenario, which is where I'm about to go to farm those coins to get the... Yes, I have enough. Good. Assault is a great upgrade here for Saga. After that, I recommend getting the weapon. And then you can stop there. The armor is helpful, but the chassis is not very good. Alright, so let's go complete the quest. See if this opens up. The next set. It does. Okay. And I need to upgrade. I'm glad I didn't restore it yet. I gotta take it to 7-star. Okay. Let's complete that next quest. Let's restore the Hercules. Okay. I can just come back and upgrade them. I'm not really losing my setup. I just have to re-upgrade the mechs, which makes it helpful. Okay, so let's see. Oh, still not enough? Almost. Very close. Not enough. Okay, so let's do the Odysseus. This is such a pain, but it's worth it for those mission rewards. Gonna make it a lot easier to get the coins. Otherwise, it takes a while to get the coins. So that's why I'm bothering to do this. Okay, so then you want to get the weapon. And that's the best way to upgrade your Visago for 7-star. For 8-star, I would get the armor. Let's go ahead and complete that mission. There we go. We've unlocked a bunch more. Here we go. I need to use a mock training module. And then I need to do the combat simulation, all of chapter 1. And see, here I get coins. It takes a while to get this many coins. So it's nice to use these missions to supplement how many coins you get. And then I need to trade for any CS token shop item once after I complete the full chapter. Okay. Let's use the mock training module on a pilot first. Go ahead and complete that. As well as restoring the Visago so I can get all those resources back. Okay, cool. And now we come here into items. I do have one right there. So just click use. I want to use it on a pilot that I like and can benefit a lot from the additional skill points. So let's look at our pilots and make sure we're putting it into the right pilot. Okay. Yes, I need to increase this skill right here. And this basically reduces the CD every time I increase it, so that's nice. Bora. Okay, so this is increasing her. Yeah, she's a very skill point hungry pilot. She benefits a lot from skill points. Now, what was her, hold on, top comment. What was there we go, here we go. 2, 1, 3, 4. Let's take a look. So this one first, and then this one second, actually. And then this one, and then finally this one. So 2 comes first. So I could do either one, Bora, or Asari. Let's do Bora. I feel like this skill is really helpful, and I'm going to be using Bora no matter what in my team. So let's actually use it on her. Okay, so you can actually do that by coming here to upgrade, and you can click on it right here. I'm going to use the mock training module, and I just got a bunch more skill points, 5 skill points. We're going to put these in here, and she just suddenly got a lot better. So she's now adding 20% of her reaction attribute to her other attributes. Let's see if that's actually reflected here. It does not look like it. Yeah, so these other attributes, especially melee, these attributes would be much higher if that was showing. I think it only comes into effect when she's in battle. It doesn't show it here on the screen, but yeah, it's going to be very helpful for her. She's going to do a lot better. Okay. So yeah, we completed that quest. Come on. Just taking its time to update. Alright, so now let's do the combat simulation. This is kind of important, guys. You do want to know this. I need to show you something first. So the reason you do combat simulation is to farm hits for your characters. What I just did was give 1,000 free hits to Bora. If I wanted to give hits to Beckus, see the hits? Basic info, you've got level, affection, hits, and level up XP. With hits, 365, you can get up to, I think it's 4,000 hits is the max. I mean, once you get more than that, sure, you can get as many hits as you want. After you've been playing the game for months or years, you're going to have so many hits on your favorite pilots, it's going to be crazy. But once you get past 4,000, they no longer gain skill points from it. So I think 4,000 is the limit. But up until that point, they get like 1 skill point for every 200 hits or something like that. So it's 5 skill points for every 1,000 hits, which would be 20 skill points for 4,000 hits. So I just got, what was it, 5 skill points for giving her that mock training module, which was 1,000 hits. So yeah, that's 1 skill point every 200 hits. So from just playing the game, from him getting hits, which is basically kills, every time he gets a kill and he gets the killing shot, he gains a hit. So he's gotten a killing blow on 365 enemies, right? So other people who I haven't been using as long, obviously, have not got the killing blow on as many mechs or planes or tanks. So really low hits. She just got the mock training module. In the Achilles, she's not farming hits very well. As you can see, she's only had 181 hits. The 1,000 is just what I gave her. But the 181, she has not been getting very many last hits as the Achilles. In the Odysseus, same thing. She's got a few more at 209. But of course, as my damage dealer, he's had the most. So it's important to know that you can come here to the battle simulation, combat simulation, and this is where you farm hits for your pilots. Once you get them to 4,000, you have given them 20 extra skill points, which makes them so much better as pilots, okay? So what you want to do is you want to come in here. You select the pilot, or you select the mech. Any mech can be used for this, but I recommend using the mech that is going to easily progress and has an ability that allows them to chain hits together, where one ultimate ability allows you to kill 10 or 5 or 10 enemies at the same time. So screen reaching across the entire screen, hitting multiple enemies kind of attacks. The Kamui is a decent choice because it has drones, and so you can call those drones out and they hit enemies for you automatically. Bad choices would be the Odysseus. As a melee mech that doesn't have a whole lot of mobility and it doesn't hit multiple targets, the Odysseus would be a terrible choice for this. It doesn't matter if the mech is leveled up or not. I can take a 1-star mech and it's going to have all the same abilities and all the same power as this fully heavy armored Rakshasa. Okay. So let's do this twice, actually. I'm going to take the heavily armored Rakshasa, and you can see what I'm talking about. You can change the pilot by clicking on the picture. I'll do that one more time. Whoever you want to give your hits to is who you put in this spot. I want to give all of my hits to Bora. I'm trying to level her up as much as possible. I want to make her my hard hitter. She's just going to be amazing with her stat boosting skill. So I want to get her fully maxed out as much as I can. The victory rewards I get for doing this is up here. The mech I'm going to be using is here. I want to turn on auto mode. Yes, you want auto mode on. And rotate, you want portrait mode. Okay, let's go ahead and battle. So she'll be aiming automatically. All I have to do is hit the skill button. You can go up here, but it'll aim automatically, so all you have to do is keep pressing this. This is auto attack. You want your ultimate bar up here to get up top, and then you use the ultimate. See, by using the ultimate, I call out drones. Look at this. See how easy this is? This is what you would call a good mech for doing combat battle simulation, because she can effectively, easily handle multiple enemies at the same time. So the heavily armored Rakshasa, as it turns out, with the drones, is a good choice. Look at that. Kamui can do the same thing, because it's also a drone mech. She's missing a lot with that flamethrower. But believe it or not, as good as that was, the best mech to take in here that you can do as a free-to-play player without pulling on some of the best mechs in the game, is the Vasago. Default mode. Default mode Vasago is the best mech to take into combat simulation as a free-to-play player until you pull something extremely rare, like a nightmare or something really cool like that. But take the Vasago in its default configuration, and it doesn't matter that it's 1 star. It doesn't matter at all. Take it into battle, and we're going to farm some hits. I'll show you how to do this. Okay, so you just do this. It just swings his sword, but all you're trying to do is get enough ultimate to use his ultimate on his C button. Okay, watch. There we go. See the missiles and the drones? They just keep going after enemies until they're exhausted. And you just use it again when it's done. And you just sit here and you just watch stuff die. See, it keeps going. There we go. You can actually... I was going to say you can travel. No. Unfortunately, I don't think I should have done that. Let's pull it back. Okay, there we go. Alright, so yeah. The Vasago, even at 1 star, is perfectly fine. Just keep using his ultimate over and over. He's immune to all damage while he's gold like that, while he's in that animation, which is one of the reasons it makes him so good for this. So he takes no damage, he comes up here, he annihilates the single target, and then the drones and missiles just go on to whoever's next. So, and you can chain this together. As you kill more enemies, you get more ultimate gauge. You can just keep chaining that ability again and again and again. So I'm actually going to complete all of Chapter 1, and then I'm going to go buy myself some nice A-Rank Mechs. And then, once I upgrade my team, I'm going to do Chapter 11, complete it, and then come back and do the side story to get the Foxhound. And then I should have all the A-Rank Mechs I need. For now, I should be doing a lot more damage. So I'll bring you guys back after I'm done, or maybe on the last boss battle for Chapter 1. Actually, guys, I decided... I showed you that it's great to use the Vasago because it's great as a new player, but because this is the A-Rank challenge, I think combat simulation is different. It doesn't quite apply the same rules, but still, it's the A-Rank challenge, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and use my heavily armored Rakshasa to do all of this. It does just as good a job as the Vasago, and it's an A-Rank, so I'm back to not using any S-Ranks for anything. Just so we're clear, it's still the A-Rank challenge, even though I'm doing combat simulation. Alright, be right back. Alright guys, so we just finished combat simulation chapter 1. Let's go and collect our coins from these missions. And you'll see why I insisted on doing all of that prep work to unlock those missions before I went and did combat simulation. 80 free coins, thank you very much. Let's go to the cafe. Event stores, CS token shop. Alright, so I have 306 tokens. I have just enough to get whatever I need. I'm going to go ahead and get that Yaksha modified. I can only buy one, and after that I can never get another one from this store. But that is massive. Really, really great for my account. Let's go back here and finish that other quest. Okay. And we got a bunch of new quests. I can finally join another, not another, a new corp. Oh, never mind. I have the mission for it, but I can't do it yet. Okay. I've got quests for friends and joining a corp and all that, so that's great. Meanwhile, it's time to go claim some stuff, and then we're going to redo our team. I think I'm going to use the Rakshasa with those flame drones, and I'm also going to use the Yaksha modified. And then I'll do some testing, and I'll bring you guys along for the testing and showing you guys us blowing through the content like it was no challenge at all when we return. So 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back, and I wanted to show you this really quick. Here with the Yaksha modified, it's full element damage, right? I've got beams and I've got fire. So if I used, for instance, this item right here with the ice, fire, EM beam, explosive, and acid damage attack increased, that would definitely help me, right? It would do a lot of damage. However, there's other units that can use that while I can benefit from using this, the burst attack, right? And the burst magazine. This is more helpful than you realize, because if you come down here, you realize that the burst missiles, part of the main part of my damage, is 2 shells that it fires out. If I give it the burst attack magazine +1, it shoots 3 shells. So it does a lot more damage than it seems, because it's not just the modifier, it's also increasing a very small magazine. Just 1 additional missile is a lot more damage. In addition, it gives me 1 more, piece of the main beam cannon that it shoots. And this beam cannon doesn't just increase this right here. There's an ability down here called the high output shot, which is basically just this beam cannon but enhanced. So by giving it the burst attack modifier increase as well as the magazine increase, I'm helping the missiles, I'm helping the beam cannon, I'm also helping the high output shot. So I'm doing a lot more than it seems when I give it this green item that seems like it's a downgrade. It's actually not a downgrade, it's an upgrade. It's going to help a lot with this build. Okay, so we're going to do this. You're going to see what I'm talking about. So then I am free to give this to this person. Now, it's only helping the floating claw drones, but that's actually helping quite a bit. Or I could give it over here to him. Sorry, not him. Right here with the heavy flamethrower and the beam floating claws, that can help him. And then therefore his first, second, and third weapons would go over here, which would actually help her probably more. So what I'm going to do is switch those. Okay, we're going to give her the triple weapon, first, second, and third weapon boost. Okay, he is going to get the element boost, and then I think that does it. This, unfortunately, is getting no use now, which was a very, very nice piece of equipment. But because this burst magazine helps so much, it's just not quite as good as what else I'm using. So these are the finished builds. I want to test it with you guys. So I replaced Hercules, and since I don't need the Akimbo with the dual weapons, so I don't need to use Tsurui anymore, I can use a different pilot. Who is a good pilot for ranged damage? I could use Taisha with her missiles, okay, and her reload. Basically, she every now and then makes it so she doesn't consume ammo, which is very strong for a low ammo or a small magazine, high damage piece of equipment. Hard to say. It's actually really hard to say who would do the best here. I could just play it safe and put Guinevere, but she's not really going to enhance my damage at all. She's more for just survivability. And with her block chance, she's more for a melee mech. Let's try Taisha. Okay, let's look at Taisha's skills, and I'll show you why she's good. 15% chance to attack without consuming ammo. Okay, so this is very powerful. Let's go ahead and increase her level. She's level 1. Might as well bump up her level. She's now level 20. Max level with the rest of my people. Okay, so I can invest some skill points. This only increases by 7.5% when I level it up. However, this... Wow, she's just really good, actually. This one here I don't like very much. I mean, I guess it could be handy. Yeah, it could be handy. But She's just actually really good for somebody with a small magazine, slow reload weapon. It's gonna make it perform probably at twice its normal power. Now I'm debating. Tell you what, let's just do this. I want to make it to where she has more of a benefit over time than just the one-off. So this would make her ultimate ability hit much harder by adding 2 missiles for every 2 levels I give. So that would increase the power of her ultimate by a lot. But this is going to make it to where she does a lot more damage over time. So I think that's what I need. So I'm going to give that to her. Bora is, as you know, she hasn't changed. She's still in the Odysseus. One other thing to show you guys. Look at my team. I have a full max ranked A-rank team at chapter 11. Haven't even made it past chapter 11 yet, and my team is fully maxed. That's one of the benefits of having an A-rank only lineup. With A-Rank Mechs, I can fully max the whole thing, where if I was doing S-Rank, then I'd have 5 and 6 stars at most. Probably not even everything fully 5-starred. But I can get a full max A-Rank team by this point in the game, which is pretty impressive. So let's do some testing to see how much our damage has improved. So this is Bora. Remember, it was hitting 2,000 in the test without a pilot and without upgrades. So let's see what she does now that she's got items and we've got a pilot in there with upgrades and all that. We hit 2,000 very quick. We're just over 2,200. There's her ultimate. Doesn't do any damage. That's okay. Doesn't need to. Alright, so it's staying consistent at between 2,000 and 2,200. Oh, she missed. So down here, you can see with the shield flame shells, it's at 3 of 3 instead of 2 of 2. Okay, so that should tell you. And actually, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's doing much. She's still only shooting 2 at a time, and then it has to reload. So while I do get an extra missile, she's not shooting that extra missile until it's fully reloaded. So I take it back. That looks, after doing this testing, it looks like it's not actually helping her that much. So she's at about 2,000 right now, DPS. Yep, and the beam cannon, So since she's not firing more than 2 missiles at a time, it doesn't look like that increased magazine is actually doing her any good. On paper, it seems like it would, but she doesn't actually fire all 3, so it's not helping her. So, unfortunately, I do have to take this for myself. I'm going to be putting this on her. And she is going to be... Hold on, what's he using? Hold on, I'm a little confused. Yeah, we'll take this off her. Give it to him. And she's going to be taking this back. Okay, now let's test. That's really unfortunate. I don't know what happened. I feel like when I was playing this and I used this A-Rank mech way back on my previous account before I got all my good S-Rank mechs, that wasn't the case. I remember increasing the magazine and it seemed like it helped quite a bit, but either I just never paid enough attention back then, or it's, you know, something changed and now that item doesn't do the same thing as it used to. Okay, so we're still sitting at about 2,000. Maybe a little more. It should be doing a lot more consistent. We're getting about 10% more damage off the modifier than we were with the other one. Maybe at these low levels it's hard to tell, but still, 2,000 is a lot more than 500. So by replacing the Achilles, I gained 1,500 DPS. So there's no question that it's better. So if you remember, the Hercules was doing about 500 or 600 DPS as well. Let's see how much we're doing now with our flamethrower drones. We should be doing a lot more than 500 or 600. And we're using a pilot that sometimes doesn't consume ammo. So for these floating claw drones, sometimes when her ability procs, which it has about a 10% chance right now, you'll see she drops one, but the ammo doesn't get consumed. So she'll be able to drop another one instantly, and so you'll have 3 or 4 out there sometimes whenever her ability procs. But so we're sitting at about 1,000 DPS. That's an increase of about twice as much damage. So she's doing about twice as much damage as, and that's her ultimate, as she was in the Hercules. So I definitely have a lot more damage between those two A-Rank Mechs. Let's complete Chapter 11, and then I can do the side quests and get the Foxhound. I'll show you guys the Foxhound, and that'll be the end of this episode, and then I'll progress as much as I can in the story. And you guys will see me in the next episode when we run into another snag and have to get past it. Let's complete Chapter 11 with our new team. Oh, we got to tidy up. We are running out of space for our stuff, so let's go ahead and spend some of our diamonds. I'm not really spending diamonds on rolling for stuff, so I don't see why not, right? I might as well use it for this because I'm not using it to try and get S-Rank Mechs. Meanwhile, I can just sell all this, all the grays, and only keep one copy of all the rest. There we go. I think I got all the dupes. Okay, let's go back. Chapter 11. Come on, Albatross. Let's see if I can beat the Albatross. Alright, we got the laser beam drones going on with Beckus. I don't see the fire drones right now. She must be waiting for him to recharge. But the Yaksha modified. Looking forward to seeing how much damage it did in this match. Alright, so there's the fire drone right there. Bunch of ultimates going out. Man, they are having a hard time. There we go, fire drones doing their good job. Okay, I want to look at the scoreboard. Nice, we got a new pilot. She is an excellent pilot. She does those bubbles that she throws out and blocks enemy attacks. So she's really good on characters that you want in the mid-range or the close range to block attacks. Bora in our Yaksha modified, doing roughly twice as much damage as anyone else in the entire team. Our fire drone girl, Taisha, doing 25%, and Beckus in the energy drone, heavy armored Rakshasa, doing almost 25%. So that's about what you should expect. When you're building your team and you know the capabilities of your mechs and your builds, when you look at your scoreboard, you should see about what you expect. And that means that, you know, you did a good job. What you expected to see is what you got. So I need to do 3 more in order to get this. But before I continue in the story, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to do this side quest to get... Oh, not here. To get the Foxhound EX. And then I will show you guys the Foxhound EX and we will go from there. Alright guys, so I am here at the end of this side quest and it has been a long journey. Each one of these has, let's see, 6 missions. Finally came to this one. I gotta confess, some of these are really difficult. Failed quite a few times, had to keep retrying until I finally succeeded. In particular, one of these in here took over 5 or 6 tries. So if you're having trouble, just keep retrying. The failures don't cost you stamina. Just keep going, keep retrying, and eventually you'll get it. You unfortunately don't get to take your own team into any of these battles. The only mechs you get are the story ones that are given to you. So just do your best, and you know, eventually you'll get it. I'm gonna do this last mission really quick. Let's see how difficult it is. As you can see there in the rewards, I'm getting the Foxhound EX. And this is what you're going to see in play right here. This mech is absolutely amazing. It's being piloted by Beckus right now. I think this second spot is going to be filled here when we fight the boss. I think there's going to be somebody who joins us to fight. I have it on auto. I should probably not have it on auto, so I could use my abilities at the appropriate times. That's how I had to beat the more difficult missions that I was talking about. I had to take off auto and then save my ultimate for fighting the boss. So on auto, I might fail this first try. We'll see. You're doing really good. Alright, well, at least he still has his ultimate, but I'm not sure what it is. It's Assault. Okay. Absolute Field. Looks like it blocks all projectiles. Missiles and drones. Looks like it has Golden Mode as well. Golden Mode on anything, whether it's the enemy, tanks, planes, mechs, whatever. Golden Mode is basically just an attack increase combined with crowd control immunity. So immune to burns, freezes, slows, stuns, all that. We did it, guys. We finally got our Foxhound. That took forever. But now that we've got it, I want to show it to you guys. I'm very excited. So the Odysseus right now is my weakest link. I'm tempted to get rid of the Odysseus, even though it's my strongest melee tank, and her job is just to take enemy aggro, and she does that pretty well, which frees up my units to do damage. So I'm tempted to get rid of the Odysseus in favor of just more damage, but I'm going to go ahead and do that, and the reason why is because the Odysseus is actually pretty weak. It only does 500 damage, or 500 DPS, with all of the upgrades it's got. It's got a lot of items, and as you can see, it doesn't have very many weapons. They don't do very much damage. It has some abilities that are nice, but mainly people use the Odysseus for this right here, with the fact that it's melee, so it takes enemy aggro from being in their face. It has firm armor and self-healing. So that's why people use it. But I think it's outlived its usefulness for me. I'm going to go ahead and restore it. And get rid of it. Alright, so we're going to switch. The question is, who do I want her to pilot when it's not piloting the Odysseus? Or Odysseus. I need to give her my shortest range mech. Between the heavy Rakshasa and the Rakshasa, I think the heavy armored Rakshasa is probably going to be my shortest range mech. Because of the flamethrower, which is a middle range, short range weapon, I feel like the heavy armored Rakshasa has an AI that requires it to be closer to the enemy. So she's going to be closer, so I'll go ahead and give her that. It's the closest thing I have to a tank right now. Meanwhile, he is going to get the Foxhound EX. Where is it? I actually don't see it in my list. There it is. Okay. Awesome. So let's click it and make sure it's locked. And let's also... Whoop, wrong. I need to go over here and fully upgrade it. Okay. So all I'm going to do for now is take you through the full upgrade process. And then we're going to build the items for it. We're going to make Beckus the pilot. I do think Beckus is going to be our best pilot for it. Okay. I want to do a full kind of guide on this mech and why it's such a powerful A-Rank mech. It's got multiple reasons. Okay, so stable type. Becomes immune to the effects of impact, knocking up, and stun. And then excitement, movement, and reload speed increased by 25%. That's incredibly good. Okay, so this is immune to a whole lot of crowd control effects that are very common from enemy weapons and enemy melee. So it's going to be very evasive, and it's going to be hard to pin down. So in the hands of a pilot that has a lot of evasive ability and is very maneuverable, this is going to be an excellent mech. Then, movement and reload speed increased by 25%. The movement of plus 25% is huge. That's going to be a very fast mech. In the hands of the right pilot, it's going to be hard to pin this thing down. Okay, then we've got Beam SNG, which is beam. We've got Long Range Photon, which is beam. And Shield Machine Gun, which is the lowest damage of all the weapons and is common. So I don't really care about the Shield Machine Gun. I don't care if he never uses it. All of my damage, I'm going to be trying with my items to boost the beam damage and the burst main and the burst secondary. So that burst item might actually come in handy here. I do think that having the increased magazine isn't going to help that much because these already have large magazines. So one extra shot at 40 damage is not going to be that helpful. But the burst attack at 10% is going to be nice. Or I could just try to burst or boost the beam damage. So we'll see. Here's another reason why this is so good. He's got shield tackle. He raises a shield in front of himself and tackles the enemy. He can do this from range, or he can do this close range and then land a melee hit. He's got grapple rush. So he's got 2 charge abilities right here, which help him close the distance. Shield block, level 1, raises a shield in front of itself. Here's a big one, side evasion. Side evasion on a 3-second cooldown. He dashes to the side and dodges weapon hits. It's kind of like dodging when you're playing a Souls game, like Elden Ring or something like that. You have kind of like iframes during the animation of the dodge. So side evasion, shield block, like these abilities are going to help him evade damage. So he's already hard to pin down because of his passive. He's got increased movement speed. He's got immunity to knockdown effects and stuff. And then he's got side evasion, shield block, all this. He's got linear evasion as well. Side evasion, linear evasion, shield block. Look at all these different ways he has to evade damage. So he's kind of like a dodge tank. The Foxhound, the Beckus version, is the dodge tank of the A-Rank Mechs. Incredibly hard to pin down. In the hands of a good pilot, you're going to see this thing do amazing. It's not the highest damage. The mech that we've already got, the modified Rakshasa, is the highest range damage of all mechs for A-Rank, but it's going to be very tanky, right? In the hands of a pilot that can move around a lot, it's going to be very tanky. So one problem is his automatic reload. Does that really help us with weapons that already have a fast reload? When these weapons have a fast reload, I don't think Beckus's automatic reload ultimate actually helps us that much. It helps us a little bit, but look at how short these cooldowns are, guys. Even on his evasion abilities, these cooldowns are already really low. So his ultimate, I feel like, doesn't help quite that much. His ultimate is going to be more helpful on a mech where you're concerned about long cooldowns getting reset. Okay, so let's look for our mech with the longest cooldowns and try to see. So this is a 6-second cooldown, single shot missiles. Resetting these beam missiles is, beam drones is really good. He did really good in the heavy armored Rakshasa. Let's take a look at this. Only a 3-second cooldown on the heat gun and the shield flame shell, and only a 2.8-second cooldown on the beam cannon. I feel like resetting these cooldowns isn't going to help much. When he uses his ultimate, a lot of these are probably going to be off cooldown already, so his ultimate will be wasted. So the Yaksha modified, I don't think, is the right choice for his ultimate type. So then we come here to her. Again, her main use, the reason we're using her mainly is because of her automatic ammo reload ability, where she has a chance to not consume ammo when she hits. So while this would really be helpful if Beckus reset this cooldown, it's also good for Taisha. So I think Beckus is going to be great in either the heavy armored Rakshasa or the normal Rakshasa. That's where his ultimate's going to get the most use. So, tell you what. Let's give her. I want to give Bora the Foxhound EX. And the reason why is because of her reaction stat. Look at the rest of these pilots and their reaction stat. Beckus's reaction stat is only 81. Hers is pretty high at 113. Hers is 124, by far the highest, and hers is only 95. In addition to that, her reaction stat, 25% of that is going to be shared across the other stats. So her stats are going to be really high. In the Foxhound EX, which has a lot of damage or dodge abilities, we need a pilot that has a high reaction stat and can react to abilities and dodge stuff as much as possible. So I want to give it to my pilot with the highest reaction stat. So, Bora, you are going to get the Foxhound. Beckus, you are not taking that because we already established that's not the best mech for you. Beckus, you are getting the... What do you think, guys? Should I give him the fire drones or keep him in the heavy armored Rakshasa? Either one's going to be good for him. Let's put him in the heavy armored Rakshasa, guys. Okay, so he's got his old mech back. Alright, so now I need to complete these builds. We've already tested all these builds with everybody else. So, yeah. It looks like my melee unit is getting this. That's interesting. I guess it works. Very squishy. This is an extremely squishy mech. So it makes better sense for my one unit that has the only ultimate on the team that allows her to heal herself and also go invisible and drop enemy aggro. So of all my pilots, actually, she has the best chance of staying alive in this extremely squishy mech. So while she's more of a melee pilot, that's actually not a bad idea. And she has a high reaction stat, so she can kind of dodge from range. So this works for her. Okay, I'm happy with that. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to work on these builds really quick, make sure the items are on the right people, and then I'll come back and test the new Foxhound with Bora playing, piloting it, whatever. And then we'll go from there and make sure that we're progressing easily with our new team. All right, be right back. All right, guys. Well, we made quite a few changes because, you know, as a new account, we don't have a lot of items and duplicate items, so we had to just make do with what we had. Not all of these are ideal, but we did the best we could. So on the heavy armored Rakshasa with Beckus, I'm boosting the first 3 weapons. I've increased the range of the main and secondary armaments, but it doesn't apply to beam related weapons. So I'm hoping that actually applies to the main armament here of the heavy flamethrower, and if it does, then that's going to be awesome. Okay, it's also an automatic main armament, so it's also boosted by this, with the armament reload being increased because it's got an automatic magazine. So I should, if these 2 items work for the flamethrower, be doing a lot more consistent damage with the flamethrower. Also, Beckus got these 2 tank items that he stole from her. Sorry, Bora. So anyways, those 2 tank items are in Beckus now. I went for full evasiveness on Bora. Okay, so she is boosting her beam damage by 16%. But other than that, she's boosting her pilot stats by 36. And remember, this is increased, so it's not just 36. It's 36 plus 25% of 36 to every stat except reaction. So 36 to reaction, and then 25% of 10 is what? 2.5. So 2.5 times 3, 7.5, about 8. So 36 plus 8, which is, hold on, 4 and 4, so 44. So 36 to reaction and 44 stats to the rest. So this is actually giving her more than it seems because of her skill. And then here, this is the most important thing. There's a certain lag and a certain delay with pilots, especially at low level, before they get their stats way up, where they switch between weapons and abilities, and there's a bit of a delay. So for a mech, such as this type, now this is different for every mech, so this isn't the same for all mechs, but with mechs that have a lot of weapons with low cooldowns, and they're shooting these weapons very quickly and very often, in addition to having a lot of abilities that they want to use as often as possible on low cooldown, then they're not going to be able to. You take them into test, and you have them fight, and you watch carefully, and you'll notice that a lot of these skills reload very quickly because they're short cooldown, and then it just sits there and doesn't get used for a while until finally they use it again. The only time these abilities get used to their max potential, along with the weapons, is when you've got pilots with this switching between weapons and abilities stat, which 10% faster, that's nice, but remember we looked at Teresa, and Teresa had this in her skills built in. So this plus Teresa would mean Teresa would be fantastic in this mech. But because of her high stats, because they're being boosted and all that, with this item, plus with this right here, with the switching between weapons and abilities, I'm trying to make full use of her speed, okay? I was tempted to go all in and take this off and give her this right here with the Miracle Coil, which greatly improves steering and braking sensitivity, but she's already got her speed boosted quite a bit, right? Her speed boost is over 25% right now. In addition to that, I feel like the steering and braking comes into effect more when it's a melee unit. Certain melee units in the game are all over the place, and they overshoot the target, so they have to brake, turn around, and then come back. And so there's a lot of back and forth on certain melee units. I feel like this steering and braking sensitivity is better for the melee units that overshoot the target a lot and have to turn around and come back. So melee units that are teleporting around and all over the place, I feel like it's going to be better. For a ranged unit that's trying to kite targets and use her abilities really often, I did not feel like this Miracle Coil was actually going to be that helpful. So I went ahead and kept her with the tank item. This, however, so remember she's got 25% from the mech. Not she does, but the mech has 25% increased movement speed. It's being further increased by this item by 15%. So she's got 40% increased movement speed, and she's got steering sensitivity built into this as well by 15%, which is another reason I didn't need the braking sensitivity and steering sensitivity here. So anyways, with this, you should be good to go. So this tank item is going to be fine. Check this out, guys. Increases mecha evasion by 35. Alright, so this reduces her chance of being targeted. She's still going to be targeted. And this says slightly for a reason. In my experience with this item, it only very slightly reduces the chance of you being targeted. If you're doing a lot of damage, or if you're the type of target that an enemy mech goes for, if they have items to go for the lowest health, or if they have items to go for the one person doing the highest damage, certain pets can have you target certain things. It's going to bypass that right up. So anyways, the second part of this, where it reduces the chance of being targeted, is kind of hit or miss. It's not always going to work. However, with the mecha evasion by 35, I'm hoping that that's going to combine with the steering sensitivity, the movement speed, and all the mech abilities for dodging, and we're going to see this thing just incredible movement speed and dodging. I want to test it right now. I'm very excited to see the results. So we're going to immediately open fire, and I'm hoping to see some really cool stuff from this mech. We're waiting for them to open fire, and then look at that. Look at the dodging. Right? There's the shield block. Look at the dodge instant. That's her ultimate. She's just going all over the place. Let's see if they can actually land hits on her. There, they landed one hit out of like 5. Look at, she's just getting... Oh my gosh. And you know the AI, it has this algorithm where it tries to lock onto a target and it does the math and says, fire if you have a chance to hit. Part of the reason they're not firing on her as often as they should be is because her evasion is so high that the AI is having a chance locking her down and actually pulling the trigger because it doesn't see a high chance to hit. So they're holding their shots more than they would against another mech. So even when they do shoot, there's a high chance she's going to dodge. And when, it takes them a long time to actually shoot because, again, she's so evasive that they don't pull the trigger. So this is definitely meeting my expectations. She is so evasive, just living so long. They can't land a shot on her, and they hardly ever shoot to begin with because she's so evasive. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen. She will eventually die. She has no healing in her kit, and the mech has no healing, and she's not wearing any healing items. So she will eventually die, but she is surprisingly tanky just because she evades a lot of damage. Now, against area damage, where like the whole field is being lit on fire, then she can't dodge that, but yeah, she's doing great. Her DPS isn't quite as high as I would like. She's only sitting at about 500. But I just love the dodge mechanic of this mech. That's just so much fun. She's going to be great in PvP. In PvP, she's going to be amazing. Alright, so lots of dodge. Not very high damage. But then again, that's partly because I'm going all in on her dodge tank. And she's not really boosting her damage with her items, unfortunately. So a lot of my damage is going to be coming from my other builds. Alright, so remember in the beginning of this episode, we had trouble with the Golden Messenger Beam boss. Let's try this again. Let's go for the battle lineup, and then we're going to clear it. And then we're going to quick build lineup 1. Okay, so it should have updated for what we've got now. Let's try it with a new team and see if we can actually beat this thing. We've got the Yaksha modified, we've got the new regular Rakshasa with the fire drones, and we've got the Foxhound. We don't have the Odysseus anymore, so we don't have any melee tank. But we should have a lot more damage coming out, especially from the Yaksha. Yep, the Yaksha's being targeted. It's doing the most damage, so they tried to take the Yaksha out first. But she had that invisibility ultimate, which made it drop aggro. So that's working as intended. Alright, so we lost our Foxhound. She did not dodge the beam. Hard to dodge that beam. Yeah, we're dying. Let's see who did the most damage. I think the Yaksha is going to be doing the most damage by a lot. Well, that did not go very well. So we're doing a lot more damage, but we're also a lot more squishy. Beckus did the most, followed by, yeah, the Yaksha modified. Part of the reason Beckus did the most is because he lived the longest. Our Foxhound did the least, but she died really fast. Just can't dodge those beams. They're not projectiles, right? So lasers don't miss. So, unfortunately, I'll have to try that again some other time. Maybe I'll level up a bit, and after I level up a bit, or I'll do some, you know, farming some hits in the combat simulation to get my skill ups on my pilots, and after my pilots are fully skilled up, maybe they'll do a lot better. So, regardless, let's go to the story mode and see if we're still doing really good on story mode. Hopefully it's not using story mechs. Hopefully it's actually using our teams. That way it's not wasted time. No, it is a story mech, or a story mode. Alright, so I'll be right back after this is done. Alright, here we are in battle number 3, finally. Gonna be using our team. We got ambushed along the way with some events, and we handled all of them really easily, so I'm pretty sure this is not going to be a problem. But wanted to end the episode showing you guys that the story mode is now much easier after we upgraded our team. Doing a lot more damage, as you can see. So it's working out pretty well. And it does look like the flamethrower has a much longer range. So I have increased reload speed with the flamethrower and increased range with the flamethrower. So that's kind of taking care of one of the downsides of using the heavy armored Rakshasa. So if you guys have the heavy armored Rakshasa, you're trying to get better use out of that flamethrower, which is kind of a downside because the flamethrower is usually shorter range and sometimes misses the target. Then if you have the rifling barrel like me, put it on that and then increase the reload speed with the automatic magazine item, and should be getting a lot more use out of that flamethrower. So it's always nice to find some workarounds to, you know, get rid of some of the disadvantages of some of the mechs that you're using. Alright, so we've got 5 drone mech or beam drones out right now for a couple of seconds on Beckus, so proving that that's a good choice of mech for him. Taking advantage of those long cooldowns to get a whole lot more firepower in the field. So Beckus is a good choice for drone mechs for that reason. Or basically any mech with long ability cooldowns that are really high damage, or weapons that have the same problem. He can kind of overcome that with his ultimate, and for a brief moment just put out tons of damage. Especially if you time it right after he just used it, so... yeah, so as you guys can see, story mode's going to be easy for a while. I'm going to farm up story mode, and in the episode tomorrow, you should see me, hopefully, a lot further along, and at our next bottleneck, and we're going to, you know, try again to get past it, figure out what to do. I'll come up with some farming strategies, show you guys how to improve your teams if you get stuck, and I'll be doing it all with a rank only team. So stay posted for more videos. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.